Kim Jong Un told President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday he was sure Russia would win a great victory over its enemies, as Ukraine's Western allies warned of a possible Russian arms agreement with North Korea. Russia became a pariah in the West after launching full-scale hostilities in Ukraine last year and has looked to strengthen alliances with other leaders ostracized by democratic countries. "We are confident that the Russian army and people will win a great victory in the just fight to punish evil groups who pursue hegemony, expansion, and ambition," Kim told Putin, raising a toast during an official dinner following one-on-one talks. Kim also praised the heroic Russian army in comments that news agencies sponsored by Moscow interpreted as relating to Moscow's large-scale military operation in Ukraine. Putin praised the strengthening of cooperation and friendship between our countries while hosting Kim at a Far East spaceport, and told reporters he saw possibilities for military cooperation with North Korea. He had earlier said Moscow could help Pyongyang build satellites. In Washington, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller described any cooperation as quite troubling and would potentially be in violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. US officials and experts have said Russia is interested in buying North Korean ammunition to use in Ukraine. "We will always be with Russia," Kim said, according to footage broadcast on Russian TV. "An old friend is better than two new ones," Putin said, quoting a Russian proverb and referencing the Soviet Union's role in the Korean War. Their talks as well as discussions with delegations lasted around 2 hours before the leaders proceeded to the dinner in Kim's honor. Kim will later oversee a display of the capabilities of Russia's Pacific Fleet in Vladivostok, Putin announced. Cosmodrome meeting. The two leaders met at the Vostochny Cosmodrome, with footage released by the Kremlin showing the pair shaking hands enthusiastically as Kim arrived. The two then toured assembly and launch facilities for the Angara and Soyuz, two space rocket launchers, before sitting down for talks. While Kim was in Russia, Pyongyang fired 2 ballistic missiles on Wednesday, the South Korean military said, the latest in a string of sanctions-busting tests. Miller, the U.S. State Department spokesman, warned that North Korean satellites have been used to develop Pyongyang's ballistic missiles. The United States will not hesitate to impose sanctions if appropriate, Miller told reporters. Kim, who traveled overland to Russia in his bulletproof train, was accompanied by an entourage that suggested the summit would have a strong military focus. Among the top military officials accompanying Kim were Korean People's Army Marshal Pak Jong-chan and Munitions Industry Department Director Jo Chun-ryon, according to the North State media. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu took part in the talks with Kim, as did Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, images on Russian state television showed. Russian news agencies published images of Kim and Putin touring the vast space center. The leader of the DPRK shows great interest in rocket technology, and they are trying to develop their presence in space, Putin said, referring to North Korea by its official name. Kim thanked Putin for inviting him to visit, despite the Russian leader's busy schedule.